afternoon, everyone. My name is Amber Williams. I'm the exercise site lead here. Before I start sharing my video, I wanted to just let you guys know about all of our handouts that you can see on the bottom left of your screen. All the handouts that you'll need or to reference back of the PowerPoint are all populated at that website there. So how's everybody doing today? Everyone doing all right? Good. Awesome, I'm glad. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is the importance of strength training. So if you've been coming to your visits, you've heard all the exercise team talk about strength training, try to do at least 1 to 2 days a week, starting off and progressing from there. And some of you may be wondering, like, okay, well, I really like doing cardio. I love walking or running or the treadmill or the bike, but I really am intimidated by using the weights, or I don't really enjoy doing the weight. Do I really need to do that? So this PowerPoint, this presentation is going to talk a little bit more about why it's so important to do some strength training. So the first thing I want to go over is what is strength training. So that is any form of physical activity that is designed to improve muscular fitness. So that's when you're exercising a muscle or group of muscles against an external resistance. So what does that mean? That means if you're using bands or your body weight, you're really focusing on putting some sort of strain on the muscle to strengthen that muscle. What are some things that you guys may be doing now for strength training? Anyone doing strength training right now? Mobile Fit, that's a great app. Hand weights, those are my favorite. Machine weights are awesome as well. You guys are doing a great variety so far. I'm glad to see that. We'll talk about all of those hand weights and machine weights at the gym. That's fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between muscular strength and muscular endurance. So what we typically recommend is muscular endurance starting off. So that is the ability of the muscle to repeatedly exert a submaximal resistance. So this is not you maxing out on your strength. So that's not you getting to a point where you can't lift at all, but when you can comfortably do, say, 12 to 15 reps, maybe even more reps at a lower weight for several sets. So we like to recommend 2 to 3 sets, 12 to 15 repetitions. So that's kind of in the higher range there. When we want you working on muscular strength, which would be further on in your program, that's when we're going to ask you to lower the repetitions a little bit and increase the weight. So this is the time where we're looking for your body to exert a maximal amount of force. So again, for the purposes of this program, for losing weight, we don't necessarily want you to be maxing out all the time. We don't need you lifting like Arnold Schwarzenegger or The Rock Johnson, anything like that. So different ways that strength training can be accomplished. You guys kind of already listed most of them. The hand weights, machine weights, medicine balls, kettlebells, body weight, or even your own household products. One of the favorite stories I love to tell is when I was home for spring break. I was a track athlete at the time, and my parents, they didn't really have much fitness equipment. And here I'm going through my workout, and I see a watermelon sitting on the counter, and I'm like, okay, well, watermelon weighs a good amount of weight. I don't have a medicine ball. So my parents caught me in the living room doing sit-ups and Russian twists and working out with the watermelon. And as you can imagine, they're quite shocked, and they're kind of just like, what are you doing? And I was like, hold on. You can have it in a moment. I just want to finish my workout. So don't be afraid to look around at what's around you and use those. Weight training, strength training did not need to be at a gym. It can be with your everyday household item. I have my water bottle right here, and if I wanted to, I could use this to do some strength training. Bands are fantastic just because you can use them wherever. So if you're somebody that has a desk job, it's really nice to be able to put those in your desk, and whenever you have a couple free minutes to start strength training and using the bands to do some curls or some shoulder press or some squats or anything of that nature. Just out of curiosity, do any of you that are on right now do anything that's a little unconventional in terms of strength training at work or using household products at home? See, a couple of people are typing right now. Well, I'm waiting. I'll tell you guys another story over the weekend. Again, I don't have a full gym setup. I live in an apartment, so I don't have a full gym setup, but I really wanted to work out, and I didn't want to do chest press on the floor. So I pulled out the coffee table, laid on that because it's nice and sturdy, started doing some chest press and some tricep dips and a couple other exercises using, just the stuff that I have at home. Chairs are fantastic. Okay, so hand weights that you use at work when listening to webinars, that is fantastic. That's just a great idea, great use of your time. I know here we have a few conferences, and sometimes there are conferences that you just call in, and depending on where I am, I might take that conference outside, and if it's a nice day and it's not too windy, I'll put the phone on mute and I'll walk around outside. That way I'm still getting some activity in, or maybe a little bit of exercise in, but I'm still multitasking, still dialed into the information that I need to know at our meetings as well. All right, so how to know if your strength training program is effective. How many of you have heard of the FIT principle before? So the FIT principle the FIT principle stands for frequency, intensity, time, and type. So we'll take, great, that's awesome. Some of you guys have heard of it already. So we'll take a look at each of the acronyms individually. So for frequency, when it comes to strength training, we want you to be training on 2 non-consecutive days of the week. So if you're doing a full body workout on Monday, Tuesday you shouldn't do the same full body workout. You're going to want to wait at least a good 48 hours before you go again. So you would want to probably go on a Wednesday. So that's why a lot of people will structure their workout to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday workout, because you don't want to be working the same muscles every single day. The flip side of that is you could do a split. So if you wanted to do an upper body day one day of the week, and then the next day you want to just focus on lower body, that would be okay, just because you're not working the same 2 muscle groups twice in a row. In terms of intensity, you want to feel the burn. So you guys know when you do so many repetitions, it starts to burn a little bit. It starts to feel a little uncomfortable. It definitely gets more challenging, and your heart rate may increase as you're trying to work through the rest of those reps. And that's how we want you to feel. We want you to definitely feel that burn, and be at a point where you can do 3 sets feeling that burn of 12, 15 repetitions. If you get to a point where you can do more repetitions without feeling the burn, then you can start to increase your weight. Increasing your weight is going to help with also increasing the intensity as well. For time, it should take about 20 minutes to do it, but it's important that you include most of the major muscle groups. So your chest, arms, back, legs, and abs. So those are the important larger muscle groups. Working larger muscle groups is also going to burn more calories, which is also going to help with your weight loss. If you are short on time, again, it's also important to focus on the larger groups, just to do maybe like push-ups and squats and a bent over row per se, instead of doing just the smaller muscle groups like calf raises or working on forearms or anything like that. Those smaller muscle groups aren't going to burn as many calories. As far as the type of exercise you do, combination lifts are most time effective. So combining, for instance, a shoulder press and a squat. So you squat down and then you do a shoulder press. That's going to be a little bit more time effective because you are going to be burning more calories. You're basically doing two moves at once. However, starting with just doing squats and then the next exercise you do might be shoulder press, and just doing single joint movements, that's perfectly fine to start. Or if it's something that you're more comfortable with or you have more time, definitely focus on just those one movements at a time and just increase from there. Does anybody have any questions about the FIT principle so far? All right. So I absolutely love this chart. It gives you a list of different exercises that you can do using various different strength equipment, different exercises. So on the first column, we have the major muscle groups that you would typically work out. So your chest, back, shoulders, biceps, triceps, abs, quads, and hamstrings. And then going down each column, you have the headers of different type of equipment. So using a free weight such as dumbbells or machine weights or body weight. So this is a great starter to create a full body workout. So you can literally just go down the list and choose one exercise that you're comfortable with. So maybe your gym has all machine weights, but when it comes to chest press, that's a little bit more difficult for you, or that machine isn't being used all the time. So then you could do a supine bench press instead and use free weights. So you can mix and match these, and you can change it up and have a great variety. So one day if you're traveling, you can say, all right, well, I'm going to do everything on the body weight side because I don't know what kind of equipment my gym is going to have, or I'm staying at a friend's house and they don't have any equipment. So it's really fantastic to use. You just choose the muscle groups, choose the type, and then again, as we recommend, complete 2 to 3 sets and try to go for 12 to 15 repetitions of each exercise. So the 3 fundamental goals for starting a strength training program. The first thing is we want to make sure that you're doing the exercises correctly. We don't want to increase your risk of injury. So being able to perform the exercises correctly, you're going to be able to really isolate the muscle groups that you want to work, and you're also going to be able to make sure that you're not at a risk of greater injury. Again, when you're strength training, if you're doing it incorrectly, you are at a greater risk of injury and it can be vulnerable, but as long as you have that form down, that's what's important. The other thing that's important for starting a strength training routine is designing a program that will encourage you to continue. I know that's cut off a little bit with the picture, but that's what that third bullet is about. If it's something that you're not interested in, more than likely you're not going to continue to do it. And so it's important to add some variety, and it's important to find something that you enjoy to do. So if you're somebody who absolutely loves doing group fitness classes and you're going to continue doing it because you love that group setting, then that's fantastic. And I completely would want you to continue doing that. If you're someone who doesn't like machine weights but loves free weights, then go for the free weights because you're going to constantly do that. You're going to continue to do that, and when you go to work out, you're going to say, you know what, I want to work out and I want to do the free weights. So that's going to be really important. So some benefits to strength training regularly. The biggest one is to maintain or increase muscle mass. So if you're doing more endurance, you're going to maintain your muscle mass. But if you are doing more strength or more strength-based focus for your strength training, you're going to increase your muscle mass. And that's important because it helps to prevent sarcopenia, which is your loss of muscle tissue as you age. But it's also important because of your posture and your bone density and just you being able to do activities of daily living. So that's, being able to walk up the stairs and, transfer a pot of water from the sink to the stove and being able to reach above you. Just all those little activities that we do throughout the day, with or without thinking about it. Strength training is going to make those a lot easier for us to accomplish. The other thing it's going to do is reduce fat and fat weight. It decreases the risk of heart disease. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the muscle mass. So increasing that muscle mass is also going to reduce the fat weight and decrease that risk. Maintaining and increasing metabolic rate. So in comparison to cardio, which is just as important as resistance training, but strength training, if you strength train today, the metabolic rate is going to be increased for the next 24 hours or so. Whereas with cardio, you have a little bit of a metabolic rate increase after that cardio bout, but it doesn't usually extend until the next day. So if you think about it, when you're strength training, you're kind of breaking down your muscles, and that's why it's important to have adequate sources of protein to help build those muscles up. So if you feel a little sore afterwards, your body's going to think of that as if you were to cut your finger. It's something that your body's going to try to heal. So it uses more resources and it needs a little bit more energy. So your metabolic rate is going to increase in order for your body to strengthen the muscles and recover from the weight training that you did the previous day. Other benefits is that your strength training will help enhance insulin sensitivity and glucose utilization, as well as reducing your blood pressure. Both the top number, that's the systolic number, and the bottom number, that's systolic blood pressure. Those are all really great benefits to strength training. Other benefits include improved blood lipid profile, so your improved cholesterol. Like I mentioned before, bone density, it helps prevent osteoporosis, so that's when your bones become a little more fragile due to tissue loss. Increasing your muscle mass and your muscle strength is going to help decrease lower back discomfort. A lot of people, we sit a lot. So our posture is affected by that. And usually what I've seen is that your patients where they have a lot of lower back pain, it's usually because their abdominal muscles are a little bit weaker. So once we're able to focus on those muscles and strengthen those muscles up, it tends to be that their lower back discomfort eases considerably. It can also reduce arthritic pain as the muscles better support affected joints, especially with water aerobics, or water exercises in general. So if you're somebody who has, for instance, rheumatoid arthritis or just knee pain in general or joint pain in general, I really suggest water exercise because it really does reduce the stress on the joints and it gives you a little bit more of a leverage in order to increase your strength or your cardio performance because you're not feeling the same kind of pain that you would if you were exercising on land. Some of my favorite and my absolute favorite benefit is that it increases your self-confidence and relieves depression. So there's very few things that you can compare to when you're able to see, okay, I was not able to do push-ups at all, even on my knees, and now I'm able to do them on my knees, or now I'm able to do them on my toes. Or instead of being able to do a shoulder press with 5 pounds, I can now do it with 10 pounds. That really does help with your self-confidence, and it really does, make you feel even more worthy and more proud of yourself. And those are things that are just really important overall. So based on all these benefits that I've kind of listed, are there any other benefits that you guys have noticed from strength training or exercising in general in your personal life? I sleep better. That's a good one too. Um, and I'll even add to that, one thing that I noticed is that I have more energy as well. So not only do I sleep better throughout the night, I have more energy. So great example is last night I woke up in the middle of the night and my mind was just racing, and I wanted to work out yesterday and that didn't happen. But I know that when I do work out, it does ease a lot of my stress and a lot of my thoughts. And I am able to sleep throughout the night a little bit better. Oxygen level has improved. That's fantastic. That's another thing, is your body will be able to utilize oxygen throughout the muscles a lot more efficiently when you're exercising and strength training. All right, so once you start strength training, the next thing is to progress your strength training routine. We don't want to level off. You don't want to be at a point where you're doing it, but you're not getting any benefit from it. So in order to progress, there's two different principles. So progression is the act of moving forward, advancing towards a specific goal over time. So how many of you have some type of fitness goal that you want to accomplish? You can list them out. I know a few of the common ones that I hear is that I'd like to run a 5K, or I would like to be able to just run around an entire weekend with my grandchildren or my children. So that is when you have a specific goal that you want to accomplish. The overload principle, that is you adding weight or adding some type of resistance or challenge to your body in order for it to adapt and to increase with strength. So if I'm doing curls with 10-pound weights and I decide to increase it to 15 pounds, that's going to be a significant challenge for me. But eventually, as long as I keep doing it, my body's going to adapt. It's the same principle as if you walk up a flight of stairs and the first time you go up, you're completely out of breath. It's very difficult. But the more you do it, your body's going to adapt to that stimulus. It's going to react. It's going to adapt and be able to utilize oxygen more effectively, so that you are not as winded once you go up the flight of stairs. A big no-no when it comes to strength training is to avoid overtraining. So that is constant, intense training that does not provide adequate time for recovery. So if you are somebody that is doing, say, a full body workout 4 days a week and it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, you may not be providing your body with adequate time for recovery. As we talked about before, you want to provide your body with at least 2 days of non-consecutive strength training of the same muscles. Different signs of overtraining is if you realize that your performance has decreased, your coordination is lower, you have an elevated morning heart rate. So if you're wearing a Fitbit and say when you wake up it's usually in the 70s and you realize you wake up and it's in the high 80s or 90s, that may be a sign that you are that you're overtraining. What kind of lower body workouts can be done if you have knee problems? That is a fantastic question. So I am a huge fan of band exercises when it comes to lower body exercises for knee problems or exercising in water. So with the bands, you can do a leg press or calf raises. You could strengthen your inner and outer thighs where you're not straining the knee. The biggest thing is when you have a knee problem, a lot of people say, I can't squat. And it's true, it's very difficult for you to squat. So there are a lot of different other exercises you can do that you don't have to squat or use a leg press or use any machines that are putting too much stress on your knees. So next time you come in for an exercise visit, be sure to ask your trainer to show you specifically some different exercises with the band that can be very beneficial for you. It's a great question. Different ways that you can prevent overtraining is it's recommended to dramatically increase. It is not recommended to dramatically increase your volume or weight. So it's not recommended for you to, for instance, go from doing 3 sets of 15 squats to 3 sets of 100 squats. That's just way too much. And you're probably going to hurt for several days after because that would be overtraining. You want to make sure that you give yourself a break. Rest days are just as important as days that you're working out. You want to continuously work on your flexibility, whether that's by stretching before and after your workouts, which you should always do. But you can also go to a yoga class or do Pilates or anything where you're stretching and working on your flexibility. You want to increase your rest periods between sets, so 30 to 60 seconds. Some people, they will do 15 reps, wait a couple of seconds, do another 15 reps. But you really want to be diligent and resting in between each set because then you're able to accomplish more. And last but not least is you want to make sure you're getting the appropriate amount of sleep each night. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If you don't have a good night of sleep, don't try to attempt to do a hard workout the next day. If anything, I would just say do a nice casual walk where you're still getting some activity in, but don't put additional strain on your body of trying to strength train if you're not getting enough sleep at night. Different methods to progress your strength training. So you can progress by increasing the weight or decreasing the rest between sets. You can advance your sets or you can increase your reps. So there's a lot of different ideas that you can do. So progressing the weight that you're lifting, it's recommended by the ACSM to increase by 2 to 10% of the load when you're able to perform your current workload 1 to 2 repetitions over the desired amount across 2 training sessions in a row. So that's really convoluted. Really what that means is if you are able to do the same number, if you're able to do more reps than you're supposed to do, at least 1 to 2 more, and you're able to do that twice in a row when you're doing that same workout, then it's time for you to increase the weight a little bit. So the biggest thing is to make sure that you can still do a full range of motion with the weight. So always start with the lighter weight and make sure that you can fully do the exercise with the full range of motion. That's going to help decrease your chance of injury and increase your results. You can also decrease your rest between sets to progress your workouts. Start by decreasing your rest period between the sets. So you say you have 3 sets of squats, and you usually go for 60 seconds in between each set. Start by decreasing that to 45 seconds in between each set. You're going to find that it's just a little bit more difficult, and it also challenges your body to recover faster. If you choose this method, make sure you keep the weight and the reps the same and the same number of sets. So don't increase the weight and decrease your rest between sets. Just choose one or the other. So everyone's busy, and sometimes you may feel like you only have a couple minutes to exercise, or you need to break down your exercise. So on the screen here is just three simple strength training exercises that you can do almost anywhere. So push-ups, squats, and planks. So that's working your upper, lower, and your abdominal. My biggest thing is I love circuit training because this day and age, nobody really has time to spend hours and hours in the gym. So circuit training is a great way to be effective and efficient with your workouts, because you're doing, you may have, say, 3 exercises that you have minimal rest in between, and then you complete those in a row, take a break, and then you repeat those 3 exercises again. This helps to increase your heart rate. It keeps your heart rate elevated throughout the exercises, but it also allows you to have the strength component as well. So in other words, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So are there any questions? This kind of comes towards the end of the presentation, but are there any questions that you all have about strength training principles, anything like that? That's a really good question. When you feel a burn, does that mean on the repetition 14 and 15, or on the last set, or all set? You should feel a burn at repetition 14, 15 of all sets. That means that you're fatiguing, but you're not at the point of complete exhaustion. So you should feel it between all sets, and you should still be able to get through all of the sets as well. So if you're feeling it, make sure that you choose a good weight for that. Regarding the plank, how long should you hold it, and do you stop and start for 15 repetitions? So the plank is one of those exercises that differs a little bit. So you wouldn't do it for 15 reps, but instead you would do it for time. So I would choose anywhere between, depending on your core strength, anywhere between 15 seconds to a minute, probably in about 10 to 15 second intervals. So you can start, say, 20 seconds, 3 sets of 20 seconds. So you hold that plank for 20 seconds, then relax for the same amount of time, and then the next set you would do another 20 seconds. Now, if you feel like you can go even longer, then by all means go a little bit longer. And it's just make sure that you're engaging your core, that your butt is not up in the air, and that you're really keeping good form when you're doing those planks. Any other questions? All right. So I am going to end the meeting in just a minute. Oh, wait, looks like I have another question coming up. No, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to end the meeting in a little bit. Just a reminder that there's a survey for you guys to complete at the end. This survey will help give you credit so that you can get your perk points, which of course can be used at the nutrition shop. So if there's no other questions, I want to thank you all for joining in today on Tuesday morning. Please stay dry. I know it's still rainy outside today, but stay dry and have a fantastic rest of the week. And I will see some of you guys in clinic later on this week. Have a good one.